mean, politics at the end of the day is what makes or breaks equality within humanity, as I see it. Hi, I'm Jamila. I'm of Nigerian and Filipino heritage. I'm in my second year studying transpersonal psychotherapy at the CCP, and the reason why I joined the SOCA group was because I felt isolated and alone and did not see people of color's perspectives and experiences within the training. And that is what I want to bring into my own activism, is to include the African transpersonal perspective within the therapeutic practice.
I think maybe knowing who I am, knowing your culture is a big thing as well. Being secure in yourself and thinking, this person's come to me in crisis. So regardless of what their initial reaction is of, I'm a black female, they're going to talk anyway. And there's something that gets unpicked along the way.
My name is Darcy Ubuaja. I am Igbo Nigerian, and I'm currently in my penultimate year studying counselling and psychotherapy. What drives my activism is both experiencing and bearing witness to the huge disparities faced by people of colour in the psychotherapeutic field and mental health services in the UK. What inspires my activism is being connected to my own beautiful, deep, rich culture and seeing culture and diversity as something to be celebrated, rather than marginalised, suppressed or oppressed. I'm also inspired by the works of Amy Césaire, Frantz Fanon, Bell Hooks, Malcolm X, Eugene Ellis, Dr. Aisha and Dwight Turner. And I'm hugely inspired by those who are campaigning and fighting in the psychotherapeutic field for a seat at the table for people of colour in what has been traditionally a white middle class sector.
Even the humanistic branches are becoming post-humanist as we realise, actually, Rogers didn't go far enough with his being in service to black clients.
My name is Daniel Pickett-Stewart and I'm a white gay trainee psychotherapist from the UK, and I'm also on the steering committee for the Students of Colour and Allies at CCPE. For me, bearing witness to suffering is really what underpins my own activism, that real sense that your suffering is my own. And in that vein, the writers and activists that really inspire and speak to my heart include Dr. Aisha Mackenzie Mavinga, Dr. Dwight Turner, Bayo Ikamalafe, Ash Sarkar, Marsha P. Johnson, T-Form Coyle, just to name a few.
And that's what makes me feel so excited about being part of this group in particular, because I think, I can't speak for all of us, but I'm assuming we've all seen little mushrooms of grassroots student-led initiatives like this one popping up, within our industry in the UK over the past 12 months, and that's fantastic to see. We're all linking up with all the different ones. I'm thinking of Black Therapy Matters, and a lot of the Baton groups that we're part of.
Hello, my name is Bea. I'm one of the reps for the CCP SOCA group, and my personal sense of activism within this context is seizing the means of reality production as a psychic worker, and one of those many strands of that work for me is in training in intuitive transpersonal psychotherapy, but in a fully holistic, fully decolonized and anti-imperialist, white supremacist kind of way.
Is that as an industry, as a sector, that we have a responsibility to change perception so that we can open it up to more parts of society, because it shouldn't just be reserved for white, privileged, elite people.
You know, even the training, I think that's such a huge issue in terms of, you know, there are lots of people who want to become therapists but can't afford to, and, you know, would be brilliant therapists. I can think of friends of mine that had to stop doing the course, you know, because of the cost, but were excellent therapists of colour.
Hi, I'm Namali. I'm co-chair of the SOCA group at CCPE, and I'm in my 4th year as a transpersonal integrative psychotherapist, and I'm of mixed race heritage. And I wrote Dear White Therapist as a call to arms to basically start a conversation.
Dear white therapists, you are the healers, the holders of safe space. It's therefore your duty to acknowledge race, to honour black clients and people of colour who pay you to see them for just under an hour. I don't see colour. You say it's well-meaning. I guarantee your client has very different feelings.
A therapist who is conscious has got to care about the rights of their clients. So we know that institutions are still failing students of colour, and it's, you know, networks like ours, groups like ours that work to fight to ensure that more therapists of colour come through the training.
I'm Lydia Puricelli-Calverwell. I'm of mixed heritage and I'm the co-chair of the CCP SOCA group. I'm hugely inspired by the works of Dr. Aisha Mackenzie Mavinga, Aileen Allen and Dr. Judy Ride.
So I say this, I kind of feel quite hopeful for the future of therapy, but I recognise, for me personally, therapy is political, because in a way we have onboarded ourselves into, say, an industry or into a life work or a vocation where we recognise there is going to continue to be suffering.
I'm Vic Leeson, a Leeds-based therapist specialising in working with children and young people and those who have experienced trauma. I also write poetry, and sometimes that poetry highlights, addresses, challenges the difficulties in our current mental health systems, especially those that support children and young people. I wrote poetry as a child and then stopped, and then found it again a couple of years ago in my early 40s. I was working as a school counsellor in a system that was broken, and I had things that I wanted to say that challenged that system. Yet I couldn't say them whilst I remained in that system. I experienced so much injustice, inequality and lack of safety for the children and the young people I worked with, and felt very strongly that others needed to know the details behind our children's mental health crisis. How could I do this without breaking client confidentiality? How could I do this and remain connected to myself, to my creativity and what was important to me? That's when poetry and activism found me, and I found the courage to leave my job as a school counsellor. I sometimes struggle identifying with the term activist, partly because I think I see that aligning with the word being active, being overt, being explicit. And I am all of these things, but not all of the time. I'm just as likely to be listening, to be absorbing others' experiences, their words, their worlds, amplifying others and the challenges they are addressing, as well as percolating my own ideas as a result of all that. I've learned this doesn't make me any less of an activist. My poetry allows me to address the themes of the experiences of many in order to express the injustices in our mental health systems in a creative way. My hope is that this poetry raises difficult questions. It invites my audience into an imagined world. It allows me to raise my head above inaction and hopelessness and deliver the messages that I want and need others to hear, however they choose to interpret them. I like to think that my voice and my poetry adds to the collective campaign for social change, for relationship-focused practice, for trauma-informed school environments, and everything in between, helping others consider the possibility of a mental health system that can meet the needs of the children that use it. I didn't go looking for activism or for poetry. They both found me, and I embraced them without even knowing I was doing so. I'm going to finish with a poem. It's called Manifesto for Workers of the Young. We see your broken systems, and we will not be silenced. We rise above assessment scores, outcome measures, attainment grades, and nurture the young person beneath. We declare battle against tick box interventions that assuage the state's collective guilt. We believe in our young people and endeavour to raise their voices as they challenge their distinct lack of choices, of mental health provision, littered with disparity and division. We will treat all with enthusiasm, curiosity, compassion. This is our mission. We will connect, we will collaborate, we will empower, and we will advocate. Our use of words will always be poetic, for it is poetry that will make the young people powerful. Thank you.